Philippines' health issues, breakdown maintenance. I think most of us will understand the term breakdown maintenance. We all know those with cars that only get serviced when they stop working. The car sees the mechanic when a bit falls off it and can't be easily stuck back on, or if it stops on the side of the road and won't start again. Well, medical treatment in the Philippines is often breakdown maintenance too, and these Philippines health issues can lead to similar problems in Filipino people, which you, as part of an Australian Filipino relationship, will come face to face with soon enough. Yes, I did an article recently on the topic of Filipinos and doctors. If you haven't read it, I suggest you do for a bit of background. Now, I'm extending this topic here as a plea to try to ensure your wife and her family take some better care of themselves before you find yourselves attending a funeral. Breakdown maintenance of human beings leads to short lives because it's often too late when the problem is finally diagnosed. Now, Filipinos and health maintenance. Now, I'm often inspired to write articles by what I see happening around me. In this case, our extended family here had another funeral to attend just over Christmas. Now, she would have turned 60 this year, left behind a husband, 3 kids, youngest 19 I think, 8 grandkids. All could have been avoided with the occasional checkup rather than waiting for disaster. And will she be the last untimely death in our extended family? Probably not. Was this the only death in the last few years that could have been avoided? No, definitely not. We lost Miller's very close sister in 2012. Now, she was only in her mid-40s and she should have had many years ahead of her. Recent causes of death in our family. Recent cause, stroke. Cause, why? High blood pressure. Hypertension. No maintenance medication program. Death in 2012, kidney shutdown. Why? Unmaintained hypertension again. Now, they sort of knew this but never did anything about it. And Miller has a 62-year-old auntie. She goes to see our doctor a few times a year when she comes to visit. Our doctor tells her to take maintenance medication for, you guessed it, high blood pressure. Does she? No. She says that antihypertensive drugs will damage the liver. Now, I've been taking antihypertensive drugs for about 15 years and my liver function is absolutely fine. There were 2 relatives who didn't. They're now in the cemetery. So I think maybe it's worth the risk. Filipinos in hospital. Think about how often your own relatives in the Philippines go to the hospital. Not so uncommon, right? How about you? Okay, myself, I had a couple of bouts with kidney stones in, I think, 2003. 2 separate occasions, great fun. Spent 2 separate nights in emergency and enjoying the benefits of analgesia while waiting for some stones to pass. Then I went home. I had my tonsils out when I was 10 years old, back in the days when they seemed to like doing that. Most kids seem to have their tonsils hoiked out at the drop of a hat. I've needed the occasional thing stitched up over the years, and that generally took place in the emergency section. Other than that, me and hospitals are not so familiar, and I think that's the case for most Aussies. Now, in the Philippines, when the human machine breaks down and somebody collapses, they end up in the hospital. Now, I would say that most would stare at you blankly if you asked who their family doctor was. Some of them seem to spend a few days to a week there every year or so, in the hospital that is, and then go home to wait for it to happen again. Scared into doing something to prevent it happening again? Not likely. Filipinos and doctors and chronic conditions. Most of you know what the word chronic refers to. It means those things, not acute things, things like coughs and colds and fevers. You treat them, they go away. Chronic things are the things that don't normally get better, so things like hypertension, things like diabetes, or chronic good looks like I have. Most of these, other than the handsomeness, can be managed and maintained by medication and possibly diet and or lifestyle changes. And whilst far from ideal, most find they can lead fairly comfortable lives when they are on maintenance programs under the direction of a doctor. But yes, I know that many are short of money, and medication plus doctors cost money, but families losing mothers and or fathers usually means the loss of an income and or a child carer. Now that costs a whole lot more than a few trips to the doctor, and it leaves kids without the parent they need and deserve. There are competent doctors everywhere, and not all maintenance medications are top shelf priced anyway. In the Philippines, they do tend to understand issues like that. Now, after Irene died in 2012, I got Mila to check her various siblings when she could. Discovered that most of them had hypertension issues. Seemed to be a bit of a family issue there. Other families I don't know. Some of them were quite scary actually, how high their blood pressure was. Some of them are taking medication regularly and have benefited. Others have taken it sometimes and stopped when they feel better. So while it's far from perfect, it's better than it was, and I could quite safely say there would have been a few more deaths if we hadn't have done just that. Now, my suggestions for your relatives in the Philippines. Consider this instead of sending a balik bayan box full of rubbish. Suggest you consider getting your 25 to 30 plus relatives in the Philippines off to the doctor, get them checked for the following: diabetes, hypertension, get x-rays for tuberculosis, even for kids. Yes, they do x-ray kids for tuberculosis. Kids catch tuberculosis here all the time, and it can kill them. In fact, it will kill them if it's not treated. It's no ifs, buts or maybes. They will die from it if it's not treated, and it's very, very common here. Now, our local hospital, which is quite a good hospital, fairly newish hospital, 280 pesos per chest x-ray, so that's about $6. It's not very much. Get pap smears for the ladies. Mammograms, any lady over 40 should be getting mammograms and should be getting them regularly. And anything else in particular that they've been ignoring for years, do that and you will probably save some lives. Thank you. This video was brought to you by Down Under Visa, who specialise in visas for Australian Filipina couples. Please visit our website and complete a free visa assessment form. And please watch some of our other videos. Thank you.